Welcome to this week's Jackson County Board of Commissioners meeting. Your Board of Commissioners, overseeing these dedicated county departments. And now, your county commissioners, working together for the citizens of Jackson County.
Good morning. I hereby convene this meeting of the Jackson County Board of Commissioners here in Jackson County, Oregon, at our courthouse auditorium at 9:30 a.m. for November 23rd, 2011. Please all rise with me, and I'd like to ask Steve Lambert to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Steve?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here, who's the Parks liaison? I mean, you're the liaison to the, here, you can. Okay. Steve, come on up. Mr. Vile, would you like to come up as well? Be with here.
I picked up on that.
You know, we get to make presentations to staff that are doing all kinds of things, not only here, but outside of our community. And Steve's being recognized for his work among his fellow peers as a recreational manager. So this time we get to bestow an honor, and I'm honored to get to do this. So anyway, the Oregon Parks Association, or OPA, is a collection of professional recreation managers representing federal, state, and local governments, as well as private enterprise, whose mission is to further park and recreational opportunities for Oregonians. Jackson County has been a member of OPA for many years. Steve Lambert, Parks Program Manager in the Roads and Parks Department, is the county's representative. In 2009, Steve, although being the newest member of OPA, was elected to serve as chair of the Oregon Parks Association Legislative Committee. During the 2010 and 2011 legislative sessions, Steve worked extensively with OPA members, elected officials, and state and federal agencies to provide comment and participate on many proposed legislative issues. During OPA's fall conference, OPA presented Steve with a Legislative Achievement Award for his outstanding leadership in dealing with legislative issues. At the conclusion of the conference, Steve, although still being the new guy at OPA, was elected as president of the Oregon Parks Association. Steve, the Board of Commissioners, is honored to represent you with the OPA Legislative Achievement Award and congratulate you on your election as president of the Oregon Parks Association. All right, I'd like to ask any of the board members to add, but congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And so, commissioners?
Well, I'd just like to say a few words. I try to travel to all of our parks as much as I can, and I'm always impressed. I ask the staff out there when I can, how do you like working with Steve? And they all just really enjoy it. I was at Willow Lake not too long ago, down at Cattrall Buckley, and they really like working under your leadership. So with that in mind, I want to thank you for this award. I'm sure that it's well-deserved. Thank you, sir.
So that's where you're at during the day, is at the parks. Okay, very good. It's been my pleasure to act as a liaison to the Road and Parks Department, and I've just gotten to know Steve since I've been elected, and it's incredible. I've been a resident in this county for 55, 56 years, and the parks, given the challenges of trying to maintain parks under today's physical restraints, is remarkable. And I've talked to his boss, John Vile here, and the reason why those county parks continue to be gems, can continue to be improved, but they're still gems given the restraints that he has to work under is due in most part to Steve's hard work. So I just want to echo the Oregon Park Association's memo there, John's comments, and tell you thank you for the citizens of Jackson County. Because of your work, our parks are in as good a shape as they are. So thank you very much. John?
Well, I'll just keep it real short. I think one of the better decisions I ever made was to hire Steve, and he makes me look good, and he represents the county very, very well. So thank you, Steve. Well done.
Steve, do you have any words in defense of all of these accolades?
I would just say it's a pleasure working with OPA to advocate for county parks across the state. It's a great group of individuals who really realize the value of parks in local communities. As far as the accolades for the county park system, they belong to all of those folks out there. We have an extremely dedicated staff. They do a great job.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much. Good job.
That was good.
You know, I would like to add that in light of a lot of very, very difficult fiscal issues facing a lot of folks, our local parks have far more meaning because they keep families able to have some degree of recreation and accessibility at the local level, and we've got some absolutely beautiful parks. So thank you for all that effort. Thank you very much, Steve. At this time, we have item 1000. It's a request for discussion of non-agenda items. We have a 5-minute limit. Members of the audience may address any item not on the agenda. State statute prohibits the Board of Commissioners from discussing a principal subject that is not on the agenda, but the Board of Commissioners does listen to your concerns and may ask staff to follow up on any questions you may raise. An extension of 5-minute limit may be approved by the majority of the board. With that said, is there anybody wishing to speak on the non-agenda portion of our agenda today? Anybody wishing to speak? Okay. All right, there being none, I'll move on to our next item of, maybe
Someone wanted to speak.
Maybe we'll hold for the phone call. You know,
Pardon me, Mr. Chair. I'll turn that off. Excuse me.
Yeah, that scared me to death. I thought that might have been me, but it wasn't. So, anyway, with that said, that also you have to buy coffee tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
We move on to the consent calendar, item 20.00. First item is point 20.01, minutes of the meetings of Board of Commissioners work session October 11, 2011. Item 20.02 is an order reappointing Brett Johnson, James Lewis, and Art Lumley to the Veterans Advisory Committee, order number 245-11. And item number 20.03 is an order in the matter of vacation of a portion of dedicated right-of-way in Section 12, Township 38, Range 1 west of the Willamette Meridian, Jackson County, Oregon, known as a portion of Steel Road, order number 246-11. Chair will entertain a motion on the consent calendar.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the consent calendar as presented.
And before I second that motion, I just again want to reiterate our appreciation of the folks who step forward and serve on these advisory committees. I think of veterans, this Veterans Committee, and we just celebrated Veterans Day here just a week ago, a little over a week ago, and which brings obviously light to those fine folks, those folks that have served us well over the years. But specifically, again, I want to thank those that serve in so many of our advisory committees. And if you're thinking about you out there in television land or here in the audience, a way of being involved and being active in those things that are important to you, I would suggest you go to our website and take a look, because there are many opportunities to serve on. We have several, I don't know how many. Any idea, Danny, how many
25,
advisory committees we have?
20.
About
37.
37.
Wow.
So lots of opportunities. With that, Mr. Chair, I'll second Commissioner Rasher's motion.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Very good comments. And I will like to add that I'm the liaison to the veterans group, and a great bunch of folks working on that in our veterans program. So it's been moved and seconded. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Rasher?
Yes.
Commissioner Skundrich?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes, so ordered and approved. There are no public hearings scheduled for today. We'll move on to discussion and deliberations for the board. Item 40.01 is a first reading and scheduling a second reading and public hearing in the matter of considering.
I thought I turned that off.
You know, some people are mechanically challenged.
Technically.
You know that if that happens in the circuit court, the judge takes your phone.
Pardon me?
That happens in the circuit
Here,
court, the
hand me
judge
your
takes
phone.
your phone.
Okay.
You sure it's off now?
Yeah, it's off.
Anyway, good fun this morning. Item before I was so
Rudely interrupted. Go ahead.
Item 4, first reading and scheduled second reading and public hearing in the matter of consideration of an ordinance creating a new chapter, 1231 of the Codified Ordinance of Jackson County, Oregon, relating to federal coordination policy, ordinance number 2011-15. Danny.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is the first reading, as you said, and scheduling of the second reading and public hearing of an ordinance creating a new chapter 1231 of Codified Ordinance of Jackson County, Oregon. It's relating to the federal coordination policy. Through a request for proposal process, Craig Stone and Associates Planning Limited and Cable Houston, Benedict, Hagenson, and Lloyd were hired to create the federal coordination policy on behalf of the county. This ordinance will aid in protecting and enhancing Jackson County's economy while promoting the responsible employment of resources on and in federal lands. In this case, the second reading of the ordinance and the time of the public hearing for public comment and public input will be held on December 7th, 2011 at 9:30 a.m. in the courthouse auditorium. There is no direct financial impact in adoption of this, but of course there's potential of utilization of staff resources into the future.
Gentlemen?
Danny, if you would you just give a quick, brief description for the benefit of those watching and those maybe in the audience, what this coordination entails and how this benefits the county in a succinct manner?
Okay, I'll try my best.
Okay, because I think it's interesting. I think there's some misconceptions, but it would be helpful.
What the request for proposal sought was for Craig Stone and Associates and Cable Houston to help us vet through a myriad of federal law, federal administrative rules, court cases, all which lead to the point that the county, in our case, create a plan in which we require federal agencies to coordinate with us before they take actions that affect the county or that have impact on the county. It does provide an opportunity for the county to be notified earlier than the public would be notified when the federal government is considering taking any action. And those actions range through the different agencies. It could be, action on timber issues. It could be action on wildlife areas. It can be action on impacts on, minerals and water. And I mean, it's a myriad of things.
Grazing issues.
Grazing issues. There's a myriad of things that the government manages. In this case, because we adopt a policy and you're doing so by ordinance, we have to present that policy and demand our right to be coordinated with the agencies. And once that is done, and once again, I'm summarizing this, there's a lot more detail to it, but once that's done, the federal agencies are required to do so. It gives the county a seat at the table, in this case, that we may have not normally had. It also gives us the ability to more likely impact, although I wouldn't say control, the outcome. It gives us the ability to more likely impact the outcome of any decision that may be made. And this can range from very small actions like a NEPA process that we want to be coordinated with. It could go all the way down to a road project where a study is required. And then it goes obviously to very big critical issues that have affected the county, like timber and water and wilderness areas and those kinds of things. So that's generally a brief description.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think it's important for people to understand. This is actually a federal statute. And the thing I hope people do understand, coordination means that the feds have to consult with us, bring us to the table, have a seat at the table, as Danny said. Doesn't mean they have to listen to us. But in building relationships and such, we hope to have that impact, as Mr. Jordan stated earlier, to have an impact on whatever decisions are being made. But at least it allows us to hear what's going on instead of a facto decision made ahead of time. So while this isn't a panacea to all kinds of land use issues with the feds, it does give the county an excellent opportunity to participate. And by creating an ordinance, then when we knock on, for example, I'll use BLM's district manager's door, we have this document in hand, and it gives us a little more authority, if you will. Probably not the right word, but let's say opportunity. So I think it's an important thing for the county, and I'm certainly glad that we took how long we've been working on this for?
2 years?
Probably 2 years.
2 years.
The other part that's probably kind of important besides having a seat at the table and being able to coordinate is this does give us the ability to enforce the requirement that agencies coordinate with us. So if they're presented with our coordination requirements and the specific details that we wish to be coordinated on and refuse or fail to do that, the county has some legal basis for taking action.
That's the reason for the ordinance.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I just want to add, there are some examples out in Modoc County and Oahe County where there were government actions that were actually prevented, restrictions, due to the coordination process. So it is valuable. I look over in Josephine County where I believe they're going to add about 54,000 acres to the wilderness over there, and they don't have their coordination program in the works yet. And if we had something like that in Jackson County, now they would have to come and talk with us about that. Not that we could prevent it, but,
Correct.
but we
That's
could sure,
an important point.
they would sure hear our input, however it was, whether we were for it or opposed to it.
Well, we're not done yet. We still have a first and second reading, and I look forward to December 7th. This is, we will be the first county in the state of Oregon to actually have a full coordination policy as it relates to all federal agencies. And it's been a lot of hard work. We did unveil this, our draft of our policy, while not complete because we haven't finalized it, to all the other counties in the state of Oregon at the AOC meeting, and there was a tremendous amount of interest for the policy. AOC will carry the policy online for counties to adopt, and there's a template that can go out to all counties that have a tremendous interface with federal lands. Presently, Jackson County has 51% of the lands that are federally held. So this is a very, very important issue for us. So,
AOC would be the Association of Oregon Counties for the.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for that. I get so used to using those.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. That's
with that.
That's one up on the cell phone.
Mr. Chair, I move the adoption of ordinance number 2011-15, or the first reading.
And the second reading scheduled for December 7th.
2011.
I will second that.
At 9:30 a.m. in the courthouse auditorium.
Thank you. At 9:30 a.m.
And where?
Moved and seconded. Call the roll, please. At the county courthouse.
County Courthouse.
Motion so reflected.
Commissioner Skundrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Rasher.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes. Item so ordered and approved. Next item of business is order number 40-02, an order authorizing HIPAA Business Associate agreements with business associates, order number 247-11. Danny.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, in this case, Jackson County, as a healthcare provider that bills and receives payments for healthcare in the normal course of business and transmits covered transactions electronically, we're referred to as a covered entity in the codified federal regulations, CFR, and we're mandated to follow the HIPAA privacy rules. Jackson County is allowed to disclose protected health information to business associates as long as it obtains satisfactory assurances that the business associates will use the information only for the purpose for which it was engaged, that they will safeguard the information from misuse, and they'll help the county comply with its duties under the privacy rule. This is required by Title 45 CFR 164.504 sub E, otherwise commonly referred to as HIPAA. It's a business associate agreement which outlines the obligations of both the business associate and Jackson County. There's no direct financial impact related to the HIPAA business associate agreement. The term of the agreements vary and may be ratified or terminated as deemed necessary, and I do recommend your approval.
All right. Any other discussion on the order? Chair will entertain a motion on the order then.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve order 247-11.
Second that motion.
Move and second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Rasher.
Yes.
Commissioner Skundrick.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes, so ordered and approved. Item 40.03 is an order authorizing owner's acceptance of bidder's offer and construction contract with BOC Construction Incorporated. Order number 248-11. Danny?
All right, Mr. Chair, this is for a project that's being completed at the Rogue Valley International Medford Airport. In this case, we solicited and received 2 bids for a project that's located at 1030 Terminal Loop Parkway Phase 2, commonly referred to as Phase 2 Tenant Improvements Project. This is our old admin building that was located adjacent to the old terminal. The following bids were submitted. Vitus Construction Incorporated bid $130,668, and Botzer Construction Incorporated bid $119,849. Botzer Incorporated did submit the lowest responsive bid. They're qualified to perform the work, and they should be awarded the contract. The term of the contract begins upon execution and expires when Jackson County has accepted the work. It is a financial impact and expense of $119,849. We do intend to complete this work as part of a contractual agreement for a lease obligation from the federal government to utilize that facility, and it will generate, after we complete the work, it will generate on a 10-year lease $136,000 a year, and I do recommend your approval.
All right, any other discussion on the motion?
I like those kind of
That's
values.
good business.
Yeah, exactly right. Mr. Chair, I move that we accept Board Order 248-11.
I will second that.
Been moved and seconded. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Skundrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Rasher?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes, item so ordered and approved. Next item 40.04 is an order authorizing a Jackson County contract for services with Pressure Point Roofing, Inc. Order number 249-11.
Mr. Chair, in this case, Jackson County desires to replace an existing roof, what's called the Jackson County Trades Building. It's previously been referred to as the Union Hall. It's a building out on Antelope Road, 724 Antelope Road in White City. It's a building that has real poles, but they're just used for training, power poles that were just used for training a long time ago. The building now has become a storage facility for the county, and it's managed by building maintenance, although it's on Roads and Parks property. In this case, we need to replace the roof. A bid walkthrough was held on October 18th of 2011. There were 3 contractors that attended that walkthrough. Bids were opened October 24th of 2011. The following responses were received. Pressure Point Roofing Incorporated bid $44,480. Hogue Roofing bid $47,305. And Blesser Built Roofing bid $75,800. The lowest responsive bid was submitted by Pressure Point Roofing Incorporated. Term of the contract would be November 9th, 2011 through December 30th of 2011. It does require ratification to become effective November 9th of 2011. It's an expense of $44,480. It is budgeted, and I do recommend your approval.
Any discussion on it?
Well, I have a question, and maybe John Vile would have to answer it. Is this the building right next to where everybody fills their water tanks? Or is that building? Same building. Same building. Okay, I got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I have no further.
All right. Chair will entertain a motion on the order.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve order number 249-11.
Second that motion.
Move and second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Rasher?
Yes.
Commissioner Skundrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes. The next item of business is an order authorizing a Jackson County contract for services with Todd Mills Construction, LLC. Order number 250-11.
Mr. Chair, this is for a project out at our Fair and Expo grounds. It's related to the Compton Arena, which has restrooms that are in need of remodeling and upgrades, both for aesthetics and for safety purposes. There was a bid walkthrough held on November 8th of 2011 at the Expo Compton Arena in Central Point. Following bids were submitted. Todd Mills Construction, LLC bid $69,962, and Brian Magel Homes bid $75,000. Todd Mills Construction, LLC did submit the lowest responsive bid and should be awarded the contract. The term of the contract is November 23rd of 2011 through January 15th of 2012. It is an expense of $69,962. This is actually budgeted in our building maintenance budget, not in the Fair and Expo budget, as part of the contribution the county makes in maintenance to the fair of about $185,000 annually, and I do recommend your approval.
Any discussion on the order?
No. No.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we move on Board Order 250-11. I'll second that.
Do we have a second? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Skundrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Rasher?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes, item so ordered and approved. Next item is 40.06, an order authorizing a non-disclosure agreement with Bell & Howell, LLC, order number 251-11. Denny?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, approval of this non-disclosure agreement provides for the Jackson County Clerk's Office Elections Program and Bell & Howell, LLC to engage in discussions regarding confidential information related to high-speed compact ballot sorting. Bell & Howell LLC requires Jackson County to enter into this non-disclosure agreement in order to utilize its technology, which is intended to carry the elections program into future years. Term of the agreement is October 5th of 2011 through October 4th of 2013. It does require ratification to become effective October 5th of 2011. There's no direct financial impact with regard to this non-disclosure agreement. There is obviously with the utilization of and improvements of technology and equipment that will follow. However, I do recommend your approval.
Any discussions on the order?
No, I'm still not sure what they've even during our discussions on this. I'm not exactly sure on
I've been
this
studying that
piece
too.
of equipment. I'm not exactly sure what it does.
This order allows us to engage into discussions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
start the process.
It's something that they require. They want to make sure that we're not going to disclose information that may be proprietary to their business operations, that may violate
technology.
confidentiality laws,
I
or that
see.
may
Okay.
conflict with
All right.
technology
Okay.
that they're selling us.
All right, thank you.
I thought it was relating to discuss or releasing information of our citizens.
No, I think it's
Okay.
Well, it is with regard to transmitting information that may affect our citizens as well.
Our clerk is here. Could we ask our clerk to step forward and finalize any other comments there? So.
Good morning. As you know, in elections, we have many different processes. We try to rely on technology to aid us, carry us into the future. There are high-speed ballot sorters already available. And the federal government has a fund called the Help America Vote Act. And what it did is a fund out there that the state of Oregon, as all other states, were recipients of several $1 million actually above and beyond that. And part of that fund was to create technology funds that we could carry us into the future. In Jackson County, we're very fortunate that the state has let us know that we do qualify for this technology. Now, we did have an opportunity this last year, and we were looking into a high-speed ballot sorter through the same company, which we opted out of that product. And the reason being, in our facility, as everybody knows, when the Community Justice Building was built, there were conference rooms that we use when we're in elections to have our boards come in and process our ballots to help us during an election cycle. When we are not in an election, those are community spaces, meaning community members can rent those facilities to use for different community functions. My concern with the high-speed ballot sorter we were prior looking at was the size, for one, and two, it was not mobile. This new high-speed ballot sorter, which is still in the production phase, is why it's this non-disclosure agreement, is compact and it can be moved. And that is why it appeals to me at this point, because we do share that space with the public and will continue to do so. So I think it was just a better fit than what the original product was. So, any questions?
Any questions of our clerk?
So what they're trying to avoid is the public looking at this technology or someone coming into that room and copying that. And
But we're always, of course, we have to be very mindful of the security of our elections. And this is one thing that we could secure that ballot sorter when we're not in elections. And that appealed to me more so than something that would be sitting out in the open when we're not. Now, of course, even then, it can be locked down. But if we're putting out, not particularly the county, but through the Help America Vote Act, if they're going to pay this enormous cost for this equipment, and of course we would have ongoing maintenance costs involved, as Danny did speak, there will be a future financial impact. I want to make sure that that product is being secured in a proper manner.
thank you, Greg.
And if I just might add, since our county clerk brought it up, in the time that I've been here, we've not had good experience with the state following through on saying that they're going to fund something for us and at the rate they're going to fund it and then actually doing it. And so a lot of what she just disclosed to you about them absorbing this cost is not a final agreement, and it has not been negotiated with the county. It's the state's word, and so far the state's word hasn't been very good to us with regard to equipment that we've purchased for elections. The last big purchase was the ballot counters, and they were supposed to originally pay 75% of how many machines? 3?
We ended up with 4 of the ES&S 650s.
Yeah, and they ended up paying 25%, and the county bore the cost for the balance of that, which was very expensive and a huge investment for the county. So because it got brought, it has a nexus to this item in that in the future, the purpose of doing this is for us to be able to enhance the equipment that we use, supposedly on the back of the state funding it through the Help America Vote Act.
Sure, and Danny's absolutely correct. Until we go into those negotiations with them and what they're going to commit to, that's why this is just a non-disclosure for this particular product. And of course, we'll touch all those items the next time if we do decide to go into that agreement with them.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. All right. Chair, I'll entertain a motion on the order.
Whose turn is it?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve order number 251-11.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Rasher?
Yes.
Commissioner Skundrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes, item so ordered and approved. Next item is an order 40.07, order authorizing interagency service agreement number 2646 with the Oregon Department of Revenue, order number 252-11. Danny?
Mr. Chair, before I offer this explanation, I'd just like to tell you that my wife just sent me a text message asking me to compliment you and Commissioner Skundrick on your sweaters today. And she noticed that they're matching and possibly Argyle. So just wanted you to know that.
Well, of course, mine's orange and black, and we know what
I
team
don't
that's
understand what
for.
that would be for.
Yes.
Isn't that for the
She's
Minnesota
probably at
Vikings?
home laughing right now. But
I'd have one. I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, with regard to this item, Jackson County Community Justice has been working closely with the Oregon Department of Revenue for several years. This is for collection of past due client fee accounts. Community Justice makes every effort to contact clients who have outstanding fee accounts in an attempt to make appropriate payment arrangements on those accounts. If Community Justice is unable to locate or otherwise make arrangements with clients, the account's forwarded to the Oregon Department of Revenue for further collections. This is a unique circumstance in one county department. This is given the fact that we enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the state of Oregon to provide these services that they used to provide. And so because they used to provide them, part of the intergovernmental agreement requires them to continue to provide these ancillary or supportive services to the program. This is one of them. Not all of our departments have the ability to utilize Department of Revenue for collections, and it is quite effective. In this case, Community Justice expects the revenue to average approximately $211,319 annually. That's based off the past year's average collection rates. Oregon Department of Revenue, when they do collect, retains 16% of collection on their fee. In the case of collection, the Oregon Department of Revenue attempts to collect for 3 months, and if they're unsuccessful, they return the count to the county, and then the county also has a private contract with a credit collection agency that seeks to collect those funds. The term of the agreement is October 1st of 2011 through September 30th of 2015. It does require ratification to become effective October 1st of 2011. It's a potential revenue to the department based on the past year's projections of $211,319, and I do recommend your approval.
Any other questions or discussion to the end?
No, it's unfortunate we have past due accounts, but that happens in today's world.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept Board Order 252-11.
I will second that.
Move and second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Skundrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Rasher?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes. So ordered and approved. Item number 40.08 is an order authorizing amendment to number one to a lease agreement with Stacy Gus and Timothy Gonzalez, order number 253-11. Danny?
Mr. Chair, Jackson County, on behalf of the Health and Human Services Department, entered into a 6-month lease agreement on June 27th of 2011 with this party. This is for a portion of the building which is located at 916 West 10th Street in Medford. Jackson County desires to amend the lease to remove personal property from the lease, as well as extend the lease for an additional 12 months. When we first entered into this lease agreement, we did it short term because we were in the process of negotiating the purchase of the federal building, which we intend to remodel to consolidate all of our health and human services, or most of our health and human services functions. After the negotiation and purchase of the building, it appears we're going to need more time in these facilities that we've leased. And so in this case, we're increasing the lease period for a year. The annual cost of the lease is $37,800. Amendment number 1 to the lease amends the term of the lease to expire on December 28th of 2012. It is an financial impact of $37,800. It is budgeted. It is paid for out of the dedicated fund for health and human services, not from the county general fund, and I do recommend your approval.
All right, any other discussion of the item?
I guess what we have to look forward to is when we get the post office done, we'll save that money.
That's right. All right, Chair will entertain a motion on the order.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve 253-11.
Second.
Move to second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Rasher?
Yes.
Commissioner Skundrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes. Item 40.09 is an order authorizing a memorandum of understanding with Southern Oregon Child and Family Council, Inc., order number 254-11. Danny?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Southern Oregon Child and Family Council Incorporated operates the Southern Oregon Head Start and Early Head Start programs in Jackson County. Those programs in the Women, Infants, and Children program, commonly referred to as WIC, that are operated by Jackson County serve prenatal women and low-income children by providing nutrition education, assessing growth, screening for anemia, and determining nutrition risk. The purpose of this MOU is to improve program coordination and service delivery, otherwise clarify roles and responsibilities of both Jackson County and Southern Oregon Child and Family Council Incorporated for improving service delivery to women and their families who are eligible to participate in both the Head Start, Early Head Start, and also the WIC program. Term of the MOU begins, the term of the Memorandum of Understanding begins September 1st of 2011, be reviewed and updated annually as needed. The Memorandum of Understanding requires ratification to become effective September 1st of 2011. There's no financial impact. Once again, this is to clarify roles and responsibilities, and I do recommend your approval.
All right, any other questions regarding the order?
None for me.
All right.
These folks do a great job.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept Board Order 254-11.
I will second that.
Moved and seconded. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Skundrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Rasher?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes. Item so ordered and approved. Next item is 40.10, an order authorizing the acquisition of additional public right-of-way and/or other real property rights in Section 15, Township 39 South, Range 1 East of the Willamette Meridian, Jackson County, for the realignment of Peachy Road. Order number 255-11. Danny.
Right, Mr. Chair, as you said, Jackson County is acting to realign portions of Peachy Road within the road system and part of its transportation systems plan. In order to complete the project, certain property rights must be acquired. In this case, what's being required of the county is that you pass an order allowing for condemnation should it be necessary. However, we don't intend on the need to use that authority. It's just a requirement in working with the state of receiving and utilizing the funds, because once the state moves to invest millions of dollars into a project like this, they need assurances that if it came down to that, the county would be willing to do it to support the project. We have, as I said, not pursued condemnation. It's just the order authorizes it should it be necessary. In this case, while the need for condemnation is not expected at this time, intergovernmental agreement number 27865 with the Oregon Department of Transportation requires adoption of this order prior to acquisition negotiations. There is no financial impact to the county, although it could impact the ability to complete the project should the board not choose to pass the order, and therefore I do recommend your approval of the order.
All right, any other discussion on the order?
Well, I just want to say this is a county road, but it's in the city of Ashland. Another one of those unusual situations.
All right, Chair, I'll entertain a motion on the order.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve order number 255-11.
Second that.
Moved and second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Rasher?
Yes.
Commissioner Skundrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes, item so ordered and approved. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our agenda for today. I just want to reiterate, and we repeatedly say this, but a lot of times when we have our agenda and a work schedule for the public meeting on Wednesday, we have generally gone through and had a work session on these items on the previous Thursday in a public meeting up on the third floor. We meet every Tuesday and Thursday, generally at 9 a.m., and go through our public meeting. Those are free for public attendance. They generally are not situations where there is public testimony. However, those are public meetings, open to any and all that choose to show up for those work sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the county courthouse at 9 a.m. So with that said, there being no further business before the board, I hereby adjourn this meeting and thank you for attending.
Thank you.
You've been watching the weekly Jackson County Board of Commissioners meeting, held every Wednesday morning at 9:30. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact the commissioners at 774-6116. You can also visit www.jacksoncounty.org and click on Video and TV Center to view many of the county's latest public meetings, informational videos, and studio programs.